Four-star quarterback Jalen Milroe out of Katy Tompkins High School flipped his commitment yesterday from the University of Texas to the University of Alabama, and we have to get into it because there are a lot of implications here. But before we start unpacking it all, I'd like to start with where I was right, where I was wrong. And I was wrong in this particular instance in the sense that I didn't think that Jalen Milroe would be flipping from Texas to Alabama, and it wasn't about what Alabama couldn't do or even about what Texas could do. It's just that he seemed so solid in his commitment for so long, even though Bama has been pursuing this kid vigorously for a year now. When he was on campus last at the University of Alabama, he wowed coaches to the point where they were really coveting him in this 2021 class. But where was I right? In the sense that Nick Saban doesn't care if you're committed to somewhere. He's going to reach into the bag of candy, take it, and flex on everybody because that's just what Saban does. And for those of you that think he doesn't have the juice, this class was ranked 55th in the nation in April, and now it is second, less than 2 points behind Ohio State. I've had fellow SEC fans tell me Nick Saban doesn't have the juice anymore, as their favorite team's recruiting class is just about already done. Saban's still has around 8 scholarships to hand out, and there's no way that your favorite team will catch Saban in them. If you don't think Saban and them have the juice, you need to understand what's happening here and that what Nick Saban is doing right now is incredible. To go from 55th in the nation to just dominate the entire summer of recruiting is outstanding. So now that Saban and them add Jalen Milroe, they sit at 296.7 points according to 247sports.com. Now, that's a big deal because Ohio State sits at 298.52. Bama is less than 2 points away from Ohio State, and they're both still in the running for a lot of 5-star players that are still out there. Outside of 5-star players, they're both in the running for multitudes of ESPN 300 guys. Ohio State has 18 in this class. Alabama has 19. They each have 4 5-stars, and they're each in the running for more 5-stars. So Alabama looks like they might even surpass Ohio State this year. Now, I still do believe that both Ohio State and Alabama will both break Florida's previous record of best recruiting class since they've started weighing that. I think that both Ohio State and Bama will break that, but it looks increasingly more likely like Alabama may overtake Ohio State as the number 1 recruiting class in the nation, especially due to the Big Ten not playing football and Alabama being able to actually show recruits that they're playing, and it kind of gets recruits more excited. But let's kind of talk about one of the more frustrating things I've seen online as it relates to this Jalen Milroe decommitment, because I've seen plenty of fans screaming that Jalen Milroe is scared of competition, and that's why he decommitted once Quinn Ewers committed. And that is one of the dumbest, most illogical comments I've ever heard. And let me explain. Quinn Ewers right now is rated as a perfect prospect by 247 Sports Composite, but he is only a sophomore, right? He has a lot of time to grow, and I expect him to continue to get better and for him to be the guy we think he is. But let's not get anything twisted. You want to know who else had a perfect rating according to 247 Sports? Not by the composite, albeit, but by 247 Sports themselves, who I find to be incredibly reliable in their rankings. Bryce Young. Bryce Young is ranked as the 20th best high school player ever in high school football. He was ranked as a 101 out of 100 prospect. Basically a perfect prospect. Now sure, Quinn Ewers is a perfect prospect too, but there are 2 things along with Quinn Ewers being a perfect prospect, Texas fans. One, he's just a sophomore. A lot can change between now and then. Other guys can rise, Quinn Ewers can fall. That being said, he still looks to be a transcendent talent no matter where he ends up in this class, so that's fine. But 2, how many people have we seen commit to their college that they love, and then once they're able to take other visits and once they're able to really understand how the recruiting process goes, they decommit? A la Bryce Young at USC. We've seen this happen multiple times before, and so you don't need to become complacent, because that's a word that I think has littered the UT football program since Mac Brown. complacency. And I don't think that there's a football program in the nation that embodies the word complacency like UT has over the past few years. They have struggled putting players in the first round of the NFL draft since Vince Young, a thing Alabama and these SEC squads have not struggled to do. So to say that Jalen Milroe is scared of competition and that he didn't want to compete with Quinn Ewers is just flat out illogical. First off, that doesn't make much sense because Quinn Ewers would be a senior while Jalen Milroe was a freshman at UT, meaning that he would actually be vying for playing time as a freshman at UT because Quinn Ewers wouldn't be there. Whereas at Alabama, Bryce Young is going to be there with a year of experience under his belt, and that's who Jalen Milroe will be competing with. So this has nothing to do with competition. And the last thing I kind of want to end this video on is the University of Texas. Where does this leave you? Because as I said, there has been no better word to me to describe UT's football program over the past few years than complacency. And understand how I mean that. I don't mean that UT has been a bad program. Far from it. They've been a very good program. But UT, you're supposed to be a great program, and you haven't been. And to say that you have would be intellectually lying to yourself. UT has underachieved over the past few years, and admitting that admits where you should be in college football. Admitting that UT fans, admitting that your team has underachieved is to admit that you should be up there with the LSUs, the Ohio States, the OUs, and the Alabama at the end of the year on the national stage. That's where you should be, but you haven't been. And if anything, there's two teams that embody that to me, and one of the teams you guys have seen me on this channel go after quite frequently, and that's Michigan. I think both teams, Michigan and University of Texas, embody complacency. Now, the difference being is UT fans, I do see y'all creeping out of that, right? And I've seen it for a while, which is why you haven't heard me on this channel after UT about their complacency, because I can see the culture shift there. Now, that complacency thing is an issue since Mac Brown was there at his last few years, but the point remains, I can see y'all crawling out of that. So how does this affect UT moving forward? Does Jalen Milroe's decommitment mean the sky is falling off, or is it business as usual at UT because you have Quinn Ewers? And the answer to this question, as I find most answers in life to be, is somewhere in the middle, and let me explain. So, long-term UT fans, you're fine. You have Quinn Ewers. Like I said, the culture is changing at UT. It is palpable that the culture is changing and that this could be a special group. I'm very excited to admit that, make no mistake. But that being said, while your long-term futures are secured, there's a few points. One, you want to get a quarterback in every class. It just helps create, it helps to create competition at that position, which is just going to make everybody better. And secondly, it helps to create a safety blanket at that position if your starter goes down. It's very important to get a quarterback every class, especially a top 100 quarterback. But if you miss out on Jalen Milroe, the world isn't ending because you have Quinn Ewers. However, when you look at who you have had taken from you over this past summer, you start to get the picture that things aren't as hunky-dory at UT as the Quinn Ewers commitment would have you believe, right? You have the Brockermeyer twins not going to UT as their grandfather played for UT, their father played for UT, their brother currently plays for UT. Then you have Kendrick Blackshire, spurns UT for Bama. And now you have Jalen Milroe, spurns UT for Bama. UT fans, look, I'm not saying that the roof is falling off or it's time to panic, but recognize the pattern that is happening in front of your face and ask yourself, how can we change this? While sure, the Milroe decommitment hurts, it doesn't hurt as bad as the Brockermeyers not coming there. And so while Quinn Ewers makes it to where y'all can sleep easy at night with the future of your program, because I equate Quinn Ewers to like Julio Jones. And what do I mean when I say that? Nick Saban has always credited Julio Jones as being the player that was kind of the first domino to fall that had all the other dominoes fall. I think that that's Quinn Ewers with Texas. We can feel the culture shifting there, just like we could feel the culture shifting when Saban took over Alabama. and now we have that stud duck that he got to really get them going. That's who I see Quinn Ewers as. So sleep easy, UT fans, but also acknowledge your shortcomings, because you can't get better unless you acknowledge your shortcomings, and your shortcomings is right now you're getting the crap kicked out of you in recruiting, because Saban is flipping whoever he wants from you at will. Once that can be shored up, you're going to be in a much better position. So is UT in trouble? No. But things aren't exactly perfect at UT. The truth lies somewhere in the middle. That's going to do it for this video. Y'all, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. This is what I would like to do as a career, so it would mean the world to me to have y'all along with the journey. Drop a comment down below. Let's talk some football. Let's talk some sports. We got the NBA coming back. The Dallas Mavericks looked great yesterday. We'll be talking about this week. But that'll do it for this video. Y'all enjoy your day. Drop a comment. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and we'll see you.